Coming to you straight from the Rio Grande and beyond, broadcasting to the four corners of the globe. So grab your seat, your coffee, or your sundowner.
Okay, everybody, here we go.
On point, as always. This is Gloves Off. Gloves Off.
Wherever you call home, we are there. In favorite places, large spaces, for many homes we have coverage that fits the way you live. And with our home systems protection, you can cover major home appliances and more. We cover more type of homes than ever. Get the coverage you and your family deserves. For a free no obligation quote, visit us online or simply give us a call.
Back at you and Gloves Off, and I'm Professor Buitron. I'm here with a living legend of the martial arts of Capoeira, Mestre Cobra Mansa. Mestre, how are we doing today?
Well, I'm doing very good. I just finished the event, the Cosmongolinha, and life keep going because we think about to get some rest, but you already think about a new project. And tomorrow, I'm going to Minas Gerais to do a series of workshop over there.
Awesome, awesome. You know, a lot of people don't know in the world of martial arts and in the world, there's people that reach a certain pinnacle, and you're one of the ones that reached that pinnacle in capoeira, and you're a pioneer of capoeira, basically an ambassador throughout the U.S. and throughout the world. So you're always moving, and that's just the way it is. You know, that's the life that you chose, and or is it the life that placed you in that path? So let's go back to the beginnings. How did you come to find capoeira? How did you get involved with capoeira? How did it
Okay.
start?
First of all, I born in Rio de Janeiro, a very poor neighborhood, called Duque de Caxias. During this time, it was a very rough place, I grew up, around that. And when I was 12, I saw capoeira for the first time. It was something I got really in love with. I started to practice a little bit in home and try to see. And finally, I found a school. And the master of the school, Mestre Josias da Silva, he allowed me to train for free. But I needed to clean up the school and, make it all the things nice. And when finish the class, I need to put everything back. And I trained with them for almost 2 years. But I was a lucky guy because on the same time I was practicing at the academy, I have involvement with the people from the Roda de Caxias, was one street roda where this roda becoming with a group of young boys who was trying to get together and train a little bit, but at the same time, you have this order to get some money for our survival. That was the basic. And with the time passed, this order started to grow, and we started to grow too, and become a very famous. And today is one of the more famous capoeira roda in Rio de Janeiro, but probably in Brazil because this roda we have been for almost 50 years, and that's a lot, And until today, every Sunday, people still get together. But after I found the Mestre Moraes, and with the Mestre Moraes, my capoeira started to grow up because I did not train direct with him during the time he was in Rio de Janeiro, but I was following him everywhere, and I have you know, every movement he could do, I could imitate it. As a kind of guy you look at and everything what he do, you try to move, you look like him. And during long time, I was used to doing that. Uh, but the other thing, I was not well accepted at his school in the beginning because I came from a very poor neighborhood, and the people was there already. Anybody from martial arts know that. If you come from a different school and you come to a new school, the old student is don't accept you on the first place. They try to keep you away, from your mesh, especially if you have facility or to learn a thing fast. They're like, this guy don't belong at our school. What they want to learn from here. I don't live long time in my life at Mestre Moraes School was like that. But after when he moved to Salvador, I moved to Salvador. And that's when we started to got more together. And he decided to make the GCAP, one of the most well-known uh, capoeira school, as a grupo de capoeira Angola Pelourinho, and he decided to do this new group in Salvador. But he already have one group in Rio de Janeiro, and now start to have two groups, one in Rio and another one in Salvador. And then when I started to really get more inside Capoeira Angola, and then I started to meet Mestre João Grande, Mestre João Pequeno, Mestre Valdemar, Mestre Canjiquinha, Mestre Caiçara, all the mestres who I only knew on books. I started to meet them personal. But better than that, I started to travel into them. I went to their house and they accepted me very well. And that's how I started my capoeira life, because after soon that I got the world.
And how do you see capoeira from those mestres to what capoeira is now? What has changed? What is missing? What is going on?
Okay, first thing, capoeira is a part of culture. If the culture don't change, they die. This fight between rupture and continuity is this tension is what make any culture alive. That's mean capoeira have been changed, but at the same time, capoeira have continuity. At some time, I really miss the way it was before. But where I was in capoeira on this time, the old mestre was telling me they missed the time when capoeira was before them. You understand? It's like we have this kind of nostalgia. Our time was the best time. This time now is not good.
No, yeah, you're correct.
And probably that generation on the next 20, 30 years is going to say, our time was the best time. This time is not a good time.
No, you're correct.
But what I think what is beautiful in capoeira, because if we have so many change, some things is still the same. Okay, let's go to look at an instrument like a berimbau. Man, this instrument is 1,000 years old. It's still the same. It's one piece of wood, one calabaza, one wire, and that's it. People have invented electronic berimbau and so, but nobody, when you go to the capoeira roda, put a electronic berimbau, put a DJ, for make a roda. No, the traditional roda is still the same everywhere. As like that's what I like. And the still some movement is still the same, like the way people move, the ginga have changed a little bit, but one thinking culture, and I think what is beautiful, and I think every martial art have passed through that. Everyone who came to martial art who came to culture, they try to put a little bit of your digital impression. They try to leave a mark. And if this person is so good, you know, in the Africa, we're going to say if they are an Nganga, you know, a guy who have the power to change what they're doing. If they, of course, they're going to change, you know, but that's not only in Capoeira. If you look at
That's true.
Jiu-Jitsu, the Gracie did that. If you look at Savate, some people did that. If you look Judo, if you look at Karate, Kung, everybody came and made some small change. Not big one, but some small change. Or better, create a new style.
Absolutely. You know,
Yeah.
that it's ever evolving. The martial arts are ever evolving. And now with a long time ago, not too far long ago, we used to talk to each other over a letter.
Mhm.
Then all of a sudden it became an email. Now we're looking at each other over the phone. Okay, and I'm in Texas and you're in Brazil, and so things facilitate. They're being
Yes.
facilitated. So with that change, now you see people that are can look at YouTube and can reference a mestre which they never saw before and say, I like what he's doing. And they incorporate that into it. So things evolve and things are changing. That occurs. That's occurring now more in the multitude. And I
Mhm.
think, but there's still, before you had to read a book, you get a book. And then you research and find another book that was 50 years older than that. Then you research and you find out that there's a book that was written in the 1800s, and you look at that book and you put it back together, and what are they doing different? That was our reference. Now our reference is right in front of us in a video that we can get cultures from that are no longer, and it's beautiful in that sense. But the damaging part is they might be able to mimic, but they don't get the spirit that's
The
inside.
fundamental. I think the fundamental is the more powerful and the more difficult thing to get. But I think that one of the things was almost impossible to think about is somebody to learn from your mastery on the video. You know, it's like, wow, now you can have a online class. That
Yes,
was almost impossible to think about, you know, but now it's possible. But, you know,
absolutely.
I think every change can be for good or can be for bad, you know, depending how you use that, you know. And I see some change in capoeira, very positive, and I see some other change negative. But the thing is, that's my point of view. That's not mean capoeira. That's the way I think capoeira. That's the way I would like capoeira to be. But if it's not, well, the only thing I can do is do my best and try to preserve what I believe. That's it. And teach my students to preserve what I have taught them. But I know they're going to change.
No, that's the only thing we can do, you know. And what I see that's interesting is the streetwise mentality that still is passed on. That
Yeah,
sage-like streetwise
very nice.
mentality that was passed on, and it should continue to be passed on.
Yes. I always I like to compare capoeira to a knife, you know. It don't matter how old the knife is gonna be. If they're sharp, they still cut it. Yeah, if it's sharp, no way.
Absolutely,
In the
absolutely,
end, maybe somebody can make a very fancy knife and da da da, but if you don't have a good cut, if it's not sharp, it don't mean nothing. And you can get a very, very old knife, but if it's sharp, whoa, it's gonna be cut just like a new one.
Absolutely.
That's it. And I think capoeira now, there's a lot of people think about competition. There's this new things, people is doing VMB. I have my critique about that, but at the same time, well, they are taking capoeira to another level. I'm doing that? No. If you cannot do, why are you going to criticize somebody who is doing? Do your part.
Absolutely.
For my part, I think capoeira needs to be more close to nature, what people have not been. I think capoeira can be used for to make a person a better human being. I think capoeira can help the society to change and to see the environmental at another level. I think capoeira can help to preserve nature. Well, that's what I'm doing. You understand me say I'm doing what I believe. I'm doing what I think is good, not only for me or for capoeira, but for the world. But if someone is doing something else, I'm not going to be more criticized. I think we spend more time sometime looking what the people is doing than to make what we like to do or what we're supposed to do. I stop that. Now, I spend my energy doing what I want to do and what I believe. If somebody else is doing something, only if they're going to hurt me, okay. If it's going to hurt me, I'm going to do something. But if not, I'm going to think what I believe. We need
Absolutely.
more people to doing good things than to criticize who is doing something else.
Well said. I was asked a question a while back, and he says, "What? Why do you teach Savat? What does it do to people?" And I kind of stopped and I kind of stepped back and I basically said, "The only thing that I can figure out the reason I continue doing it, it makes people believe in themselves to be
Yes.
able to look alone by themselves and try to figure out a problem by themselves, and it gives them that energy." And I think it resonates with capoeira. It
Yes, of
builds
course.
confidence inside the person for them to walk by themselves and try to figure out problems. And it goes to all martial arts as well.
One of the things I learned, one of the things is the principle why this martial art or why these body games was made. Okay, that's the first thing. They was made on some purpose, but who made that was a human being. Probably they used that for defense themselves, to get together, to prepare their body, anything. But today, what the purpose is of to do martial arts? Since we have so many other weapons to defend ourselves. But still, if you prepare yourself just for your body to be in shape, or just for you think fast, or just for you have a good reflex, that's going to be enough.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You understand? Because I'm not going to be practicing for to go outside and challenging people. No, I don't need that. I have a better weapon than that. I have a knife, I have a gun. I have so many other weapons. But still, if capoeira can give me a good reflex just for when I fell down, I can roll myself. Wow, that's good, Boom, negative. Hey, that's happening with me. One time, until today, people talk about that. I was on the motorcycle, with a guy on the Uber, and soon the dog passed in front of the motorcycle, and before the guy fell down, I mean, jumped back to the motorcycle, and he hit the dog, and And the people who was around are looking, whoa, what this old man did? Some people I did a flip, but I don't did a flip, you know. Today people say, oh, he flip it back. Blah, blah, blah. I don't did that. I just was like this. I'm jump back and I let him hit the dog. But capoeira give him this reflex. For me, you understand me say, probably if I don't was doing capoeira, whoa, I was trying to hold him, you know, for don't fail or something like that. But first thing I tried was I opened my hand, I jumped back, and I let the moth go. See, I think capoeira can use it for this. That's the purpose. If you can do that, whoa, it's payoff.
Absolutely. And now, how do you let's take it in a different way, because when we look at martial arts and people say, oh, martial arts, it's very low percentage of people that do martial arts. Very, 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 very small percentage in the population. Very small.
Yeah.
And when you do arts like capoeira, it's even smaller, and sabat, it's even smaller than that.
Oh, yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying. So it's very, and people say, so what? I'm not here to train to protect myself against another saboteur or somebody else that does martial arts. I'm not. I'm here to protect myself against what's out there, because there's a lot of things that can occur. In self defense, yes, okay. But in other things, like you said, the reflexes that it gives you. And
Mhm.
that's the important part that it builds.
Yeah, but look, what kind of lifestyle we live today? Most of the people. It's in, you say it's a small percent of the people who do martial art, okay? But if you look, how a small percent of the people who do exercise.
Very small.
You see, from this small part of the people who do exercise, one small part is going to do martial arts, and one
Smaller.
small part is going to do capoeira.
It's very few. When you look at it, people do not understand. And we live in a world that everybody wants to do everything in a microwave. They put it in the microwave and they put 2 minutes and the food's done.
Yes, yes. And they think it's going to be ready.
It's it. And they think
And
everything's like that.
and I mean, look like that. I say I would like everybody doing capoeira, but if I look more on the macro view, I would like people just to do some exercise, man.
Just walk. Just walk.
Just walk sometime and do something. It's like, why? Because most of the people don't do that. I'm 65 now. And all the time when I go to the doctor, to do my animal exam, and she said, oh, are you taking pill for pressure? I say, no. Are you taking pill for that? I say, no. And she look at me like, you're lying. You're 65, you don't take any of this medicine? I was like, no. You know, last time I rented to a chiropractor, there in United States, when I was in Atlanta. I have some pain on my back, and the guy did a massage on the end, and he said, oh, go down and stand up 10 times. No, go down and stand up most you can. And I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When I get to 10, he said, stop, stop. I said, why? He said, oh, man, most of the people on your age, when I say for they go down, they barely can stand up. You did 10 times, you wanted to do more. And he said, I need to do a video with you doing that for me because I wanted to show my clients. I say, you sure? He say, I'm in no lie. I'm telling you that's the truth. Most of the people who come here, age 60 to 65, cannot go down and stand up, go down and stand up one time, two time. You did it 10. But for me, that's fine. You see, it's like, what the kind of population do you have? You understand? People who can barely walk 10 minutes. You know,
That's correct.
it's like if they are, let me say, if they walk, for me, they do good because martial arts is going to be the next step. You understand what me say? If they walk, because that's what's happening. I don't know if you're going to agree with me. People who don't do nothing, they don't do nothing.
Absolutely. They don't do anything.
You understand me say? People who walk or do some kind of exercise or they go to gym, probably they have more possibility of probably to go to some kind of martial art, capoeira kids or something. Probably they're going to go to something. But we don't
Absolutely.
do anything, man. This like they might most of the time don't only if people stimulate, get their own, let's go.
Absolutely. Most of the people that I've seen that go into martial arts go into martial arts because they ran into a problem that they needed it. So they're going to go look for
No, but yourself.
it. Something happened and I'm going to go train.
But one thing I have seen, and that's what I'm trying to focus now. Probably that's happening with you too in this class. When someone do some kind of martial arts when they are young, 7, 10, 12, probably they stop for this time, but now they are thinking like, oh, I'm going to come back because it was a good time during the time I was doing this martial art. They try to come back because, that's why I say very important to teach for some kids because they probably, they're going to try to come back. You understand? Because they already have it on their mind something good on exercise what they did. But if they don't did the exercise during their whole life, wow, that's gonna be very hard. And I tell you because now we have this big event, you know, and some people have been on doing not actually not no exercise when they are young. And when I say they do catwell, and people just crash because they say, no, I never have done that because to be upside down is something completely strange for them. And like, you don't did that when you was young. They say, no. I say, oh my God. Because I told them, man, that is every shield is supposed to do that. It's a catwell. Every shield is supposed to climb a tree, jump a rope.
And in
Otherwise, you was no kid.
yeah, in today's society, they're on the video game. They don't even know what a tree is, you know?
That's exactly. I say, no, man, you're supposed to climb a tree, jump ropes, do catwell. Normal.
Right. I had a guy that called me the other day and he says, I want you to teach my son. I want him to do MMA. Imagine MMA. Okay. And I go, okay, how old is your son? He's 3. And I said, no, I mean, I'm sorry. I'm I'm not gonna teach him that. Not 3. Why don't you teach him to be a kid?
I'm gonna play with them. I'm gonna play. Let they play, man. Let they climb. They should run. They jump. They do cartwheel. Put their head on the floor. I'm not gonna teach. They fight.
But that's a mentality, and you're like, it's not gonna happen.
No.
Like I said, that microwave mentality that we have in America, that's and I think it's all over the world now.
Yeah, that's
But
what I'm gonna correct you because I think the mentality starts with the capitalism and it now is go everywhere.
yep.
Unfortunately.
But
Hmm.
out of all the mestres, let's go back a little bit. Out of all the mestres that you saw, that you named when you went to Bahia, which one touched you the most? That said, that's one. I know all
Well,
of them you can't be prejudiced.
Yeah,
But you said, you know what? The older ones, like Kaisada, Kajakina, all those.
yeah, look, I think each one I gave him something positive, but the one who influenced me more the most, Mestre Grande. There is no way I negated that, but he not only influenced my game, the way I'm play, but he influenced the way I'm thinking capoeira. I understand him say it's like, wow, besides Mestre Moraes, but I think he's the one who gave me more understanding about capoeira. But I feel, look, I always talk that with my student, Oh, Mestre Caissara teach me some of the malandragem, But he was the best malandro I have seen in my life,
What would
Mestre,
you
no.
say? Explain that a little bit more.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's exactly, because Mestre No teaching me, some of the kind of ginga and the tune around the play beautiful game, It's like each one giving me something, O Mestre Valdemar, the way he sing and play, It's like, because and it's some other mestre, and I'm going to tell the name, but they teach me what not to do. Some people teach me what to do. Some other one teach me not to do because I saw they doing something. I was like, uh-oh, I don't want this for my life. I'm not going to do that. And they teach me, but Much João Grande was the one who influenced me the most, and João Pequeno on some way because I was went to him during long time, and you learn just by to be together.
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's what continues to preserve capoeira.
Mhm.
Absolutely. What are your plans now? What's your next project? What are you doing? You're going to Minas Gerais and after.
Oh, okay. My next project, probably I'm gonna go to China in November. I'm organizing to see probably it's gonna happening. And the next year in August, I intend to go back to Angola to make the second part of the documentary. Me and the Matias, we are talking, saving some money, but probably we're gonna go.
Absolutely.
That's
And
that's how
we'll
it's gonna
see.
be.
Hopefully, we'll see you this year. Probably December, January, there in Brazil. I'll be there. So,
Let me know. I'm gonna go to Goiânia on the 8th of August with Mestre Charme. And if anytime when you go there, please just let me know, and they're gonna put you in contact with them because they would love to have you there because they teach at the military police over there and the people any kind of martial arts, very top. They wanted to know, and just let me know.
we'll do that, and we'll get that. And whenever you come back to the States, you have to make it a time to come down here to
Next
Texas.
year, that next year, May is when people is organized for me to go. I'm
Yeah.
gonna let you know. But it's, Fabio in Puerto Rico and the Fabricio in Miami. These are the two one who is organized for me. I'm gonna be with them now in July. At the end of July, we're gonna be together, and they're already gonna have the dates.
Let me know, and then maybe we can correlate something as well. And I want to thank you once more and continue
Oh
doing.
man, it was a pleasure. Always a pleasure to talk with you, all your audience, Thank you very much for this opportunity and do the best. And like I say, let you go move.
Absolutely. We'll leave you with this. You all stay safe, be safe, and God bless. Till next
Thank
time.
you. Bye-bye.
Have you ever wondered about what happens in a martial arts studio? Well, you start right away by setting goals, building determination, gaining focus. building skills, all while becoming more fit, gaining confidence, and learning self-defense. Buitron Academy is a school where attitude meets aptitude. So give us a call at 956-401-4868